A wise old farmer once stood looking out over his fields. He had worked this land for over 40 years. He knew every dip and rise of the soil. He had planted seeds and pulled weeds through countless seasons. One day, a younger man asked him about the weather. The old farmer just smiled a knowing smile. He said that in all his years the weather was always the same. It was either too wet or it was too dry. There was never a perfect season. He had learned a powerful lesson early on. He could prepare the soil. He could plant the best seeds. But he could not make the rain fall. He could not stop the sun from shining too hot. This farmer's story is a simple one, but it holds a deep truth for all of us. He poured his heart and soul into his work. He did everything within his power to ensure a good harvest. Yet, the most critical elements were completely out of his hands. He could worry day and night about the clouds. He could lose sleep over a forecast of scorching heat, but his anxiety would not change the weather by a single degree. He could only do his part and then wait. This is the reality of his life, and in many ways it is the reality of ours as well. We plan, we work, and we strive. But so much remains beyond our control. We can see ourselves in this farmer. We have our own fields to tend, our own harvest we hope for. It might be our family, our career, or our health. We invest our time, our energy, and our love. We do everything we can to make things turn out right. We create budgets, make plans, and set goals. We try to be good parents, diligent employees, and caring friends. But then, the unexpected happens. A storm rolls in that we did not see coming. A drought of opportunity leaves us feeling dry and empty. We find ourselves facing circumstances we never prepared for, and cannot possibly manage on our own. The farmer had a choice to make every single day. He could live in a state of constant frustration and fear. He could shake his fist at the sky when it didn't give him what he wanted. Or, he could choose a different path. He could choose to accept the limits of his own strength. He could do his work with diligence and then release the outcome. He learned to trust in something greater than his own efforts. He found a quiet peace in knowing that he was not ultimately in charge of the sun and the rain. This acceptance did not make him lazy, it made him free. It allowed him to work with a peaceful heart, knowing he had done his part. Just like that farmer, we all have things that keep us up at night. We worry about things we cannot control. Will I have enough money to pay the bills this month? Will my children be safe when they are away from me? What will the doctor say at my next appointment? These questions can swirl in our minds like a relentless storm. Worry feels productive, doesn't it? It feels like if we think about a problem long enough, we can somehow solve it. We turn it over and over, examining it from every angle. We convince ourselves that this mental effort is a form of control, a way to protect ourselves from the unknown. But what does worry actually accomplish? Does our anxiety add a single dollar to our bank account? Does it build a protective shield around our loved ones? Can our fretting over a health concern change the results of a medical test? Jesus asked a very simple question about this. Can any one of you by worrying add a single hour to your life? The answer is of course no. In fact, worry often does the opposite. It steals our joy from today. It drains our energy. It fills our hearts with a heavy gray cloud that blocks out the light. Worry is a heavy burden with no benefit. It is a rocking chair that gives you something to do but gets you absolutely nowhere. The truth is, we were not designed to carry the weight of the entire world on our shoulders. We were not created to manage every possible outcome and prepare for every potential disaster. When we try to do so, we end up exhausted and overwhelmed. The load is simply too heavy for us to bear. Imagine trying to carry a massive boulder on your back everywhere you go. That is what we do when we choose to live in a state of constant worry. We are trying to carry the weight of tomorrow, next week, and next year, all at once. It is no wonder we feel crushed. It is no wonder we feel like we can barely take the next step. God never intended for us to live this way. He sees us struggling under the immense pressure we place upon ourselves. He knows the fears that whisper to us in the middle of the night. His desire is not for us to be weighed down by anxiety, but to walk in freedom and lightness. He offers us an exchange. He invites us to hand over the heavy boulder of our worries. He wants to take the burden that is crushing us. The first step toward peace is admitting that our worry is not working. It is acknowledging that our own strength is not enough to control the uncontrollable variables of life. It's time to consider a different way. Jesus understood the human heart so well. He knew our tendency to worry. He saw the lines of stress on people's faces. So he gave us a powerful and beautiful lesson. He didn't give us a complex formula or a difficult set of rules. He simply pointed to the world around us. He told us to look at the birds, think about them. They do not plant seeds or store food in barns. They do not have savings accounts or retirement plans, yet they are fed. Every single day, your Heavenly Father provides for them. They chirp and sing, not with anxiety, but with the simple trust that their needs will be met. And if God takes such meticulous care of a tiny sparrow, Jesus asks, how much more valuable are you? You are not just another creature, you are a child of God created in His very image. He knows you by name. He counts the very hairs on your head. If He is faithful to provide for the birds of the air, will He not be faithful to provide for you? This is not just a sweet sentiment, it is a profound truth. God's care is not random or accidental, it is intentional and personal. He sees you, He knows your needs, and He cares for you with a love that is deeper and wider than you can possibly imagine. Then Jesus directs our attention to the flowers. He tells us to see how the wildflowers grow. Look at the lilies of the field. They do not work or spin thread to make their clothing, they simply exist in the beauty that God has given them. And yet Jesus says, not even King Solomon in all of his magnificent splendor was dressed as beautifully as one of these. Think about that. The wealthiest, most glorious king in history could not compare to the simple, fleeting beauty of a flower that God designed. The colors, the textures, the intricate details, all are a testament to the Creator's artistry and provision. The lesson is wonderfully clear. If God puts so much care into clothing a flower that is here today and gone tomorrow, won't He take care of your needs? He knows you need food, He knows you need clothes, He knows you need shelter and security. Your worries and anxieties do not surprise Him. He is fully aware of every single one of your concerns. The birds and the flowers serve as a constant living reminder of His faithfulness. They are a daily sermon, preached without words, on the goodness and provision of God. When worry begins to creep in, step outside, look at the birds, consider the flowers, let creation teach you how to trust. So what is the answer to our worry? It is not to try harder or to plan more meticulously. The answer is to trust more deeply. Faith is the antidote to fear. It is the conscious decision to place your trust, not in your own abilities but in God's character. It is believing that He is who He says He is, and that He will do what He says He will do. It is handing over those things you cannot control to the one who controls all things. This is not a passive resignation. It is an active and courageous choice. It is the choice to believe that God's plans for you are good, even when you cannot see the path ahead. Worrying does not empty tomorrow of its sorrows, but it does empty today of its strength. Every moment spent in anxiety is a moment stolen from a life of peace and purpose. Faith, on the other hand, fills you with strength for the present moment. It allows you to face challenges not with a spirit of fear, but with a quiet confidence that you are not alone. God is with you. He is for you. He will guide you through the storm. Trusting Him does not mean that life will be perfect or without difficulty. The farmer still had to face droughts and floods, but faith changes how you face them. You face them with a partner, the all-powerful Creator of the universe. Think back to the farmer. He did his part. He tilled the soil, planted the seeds, and pulled the weeds. We too must do our part. We should be responsible and diligent in our work and our lives. Faith is not an excuse for laziness. But after we have done all that we can do, we can rest. We can release the outcome into God's loving hands. We can sleep soundly at night, not because we have figured everything out, but because we know the one who has. We can surrender our need to control everything and find peace in His sovereign control. This is the great exchange, our anxiety for His peace. Today is July 19th, 2025. Whatever you are facing on this day, know this. God is in control. He loves you more than you can comprehend, and He knows exactly what you need. You do not have to carry your burdens alone. Like the farmer who trusts the seasons, you can trust your Heavenly Father. Let go of the weight of worry and embrace the freedom of faith. He has you. You are safe in His care. Rest in that promise. Let His peace guard your heart and your mind. You can trust Him. He is faithful.